Ladies and gentlemen, I'm meadsyreplays. Welcome back to the channel. Now in today's video we are going to have a look at the WZ1115A. So the 5A has always been a decent tank, pretty much like kind of like a better IS7, and Wargaming obviously have changed it when they changed all the tier 10s, and to be honest they've taken a second off its reload, they've taken a little bit off its dispersion, or lowered the dispersion a little bit, so it has been, in my opinion, made a little bit better, but it's still a tank that you don't often see. Now this tank is for sale currently for the bulk standard, the standard price for a tier 10 at 20,000 gold. Now is this tank worth it? In all honesty, I do think it is. For 20k gold, I do think this is worth that price, and it is a strong tank. When played correctly, it is a very strong tank. So we are going to have a look at Blitzhanger for the stats, so I can show you the armor profile on this tank as well. So the DPM for a heavy, I mean 2,800 DPM is kind of like those of the IS7, the IS4, etc. So the DPM, I don't think, for what it is, isn't so bad, but that is with the gun rammer. Now if you are using the rammer, you're not going to get the greatest of penetrations, especially on your heat. So you've got 260 on your AP, and you then have 303 on your heat. But if you use calibrated shells, you can get that up to 333, and you're only losing 168 DPM. So I mean, you're not losing a lot of DPM, but the penetration, I still think you can see it here, 20 out of 20. So it is one of the lowest DPMs for tier 10 heavies. So yeah, I mean, that is a shame, but I think the armor profile in this does counter that in my opinion. So you have a 460 alpha gun, which is very nice, again same as the IS7. Shell velocity 930. It is a 130mm gun. The rate of fire 5.71, and the reload time is 10.5. The aim time is 2.44, which is halfway, as you can see, 12 out of 20, and that's out of the tier 10. So I mean, not too bad, but isn't the best. And the dispersion 0.326, and again, that's not too bad for what it is. But really, what we're going to look at is the armor profile. So you do have 7 degrees of gun depression, and your speed is 45 kilometers per hour, which is not bad at all. So the armor profile on this tank, let's have a look, because the armor profile is actually very nice, especially when it comes to the turret. So you can see the turret is it's a small turret, and it is red as hell. So 300mm you're going to get on your turret, like that is standard. Effective armor, I mean, if you're looking straight at the side of this gun, you're not going to pen it. 504mm on the right side there, and on the left side you can see like some parts is over 700mm, so very strong. So already it is kind of a hold down tank. You've got the hatches on top, which are easily pennable, 206mm there on the hatch, so you do have to hide the hatches on this tank, definitely. You got the upper plate there is upwards of 264, and again, don't forget, this is looking straight at the tank. As soon as you start to use your gun depression, of course the upper plate becomes almost impenetrable, and but the lower plate does become very weak. So you do have to kind of hide the lower plate, and you have to hide the hatches. So if you are on a hill and you're using the gun depression, just make sure you kind of just face the gun up and try to hide them hatches as much as you can. If you can hide them hatches, you will be able to bounce some shots. So you do have a little bit of spaced armor at the side there, but other than that, you're going to get penned quite easily. As long as you don't get shot from in the center, you will be able to get penned nice and easy. And a lot of tanks will probably be able to HE your rear and HE your turret as well, so do be aware of that as well. But yeah, definitely a hold down tank, and it's definitely it's kind of like an IS7, but It's a premium tank, and it, of course, it is Chinese. So we're just going to have a look at one battle that I did. It is a loss, but let's just have a look at what this tank is capable of doing. We are on Canyon, and straight away on Canyon, we've got no mediums. We've literally got no medium tanks, and this map is best for tanks with a turret or tanks with gun depression, especially if you can get to the middle where B is. If you can hold B, then you can almost hold the entire map. So it is very important to try and get B covered, and try to either, if the enemies come in there, try to scare them away. So that's why I'm coming to the middle here, because I've got fantastic armor profile on my turret, and if the medium tank, which is the E50M, if he comes here, then with a couple of us coming to the middle, that will definitely scare him away. And if you can get a light tank in this position and to spot the enemy team, then you can also determine where, you can see where they're going early on, and you can then reposition yourself. But seeing as no one has been spotted by base A, enemy have started to cap base C, we already know where most of the enemy tanks are going to be. Now this Yo has been spotted, and he is going to be shot, so we know the enemy are all around this side of the map. So he's lost most of his hit points, and as you can see, there are the enemy tanks there. So we're just going to back up. We are spotted. We're just going to back up whilst we're on that reload, and we're going to hopefully use this little hill in front of us for a bit of cover. But we got the tortoise there, which we do get a bounce off, and again, whilst we're on that reload, we are just going to back up. So definitely, if you can, this is definitely a ridge line tank. It doesn't perform too well, if I'm honest, if you're in the open, because people will be able to penetrate you quite easily. They're not going to bounce too much on your hull or the lower plate. And if you're angling your turret, there are some weak points there as well. But overall, it definitely is a nice tank. It's definitely a nice tank. People don't really play it too often. It is Droodle's, or it was at least Droodle's favourite tank for a very long time. And I can see why. I can see why it's a nice tank. It is a nice tank, and you can get this right now for 20,000 gold. So we're going to finish this game. This motion is just coming side on. Now we are going to, again, as I've said, we are going to lose this game, but we're 2 tanks down currently. Now I don't want to run away, because this object 263, he seems to be in all sorts of issues. He's got tanks behind him, he's got tanks in front of him, and now he is about to die. But whilst everyone is looking at him, I'm hopefully going to get a bit of damage done to this enemy team. Now I was hoping that the Moishun would actually show himself and come out so I could kill him, but he's not doing that, and there goes the 263. So we are 3 tanks down. There goes the E100. So at the minute I'm thinking, you know what, I'm full hit points. We can do this. We can easily win this game. As long as my team stop dying and stop bleeding hit points, we can do this. But at this point, there is the 50B, and I kind of need to make a move. Otherwise, I've got tanks coming from behind me. We've got the E3 there, as you can see, and there goes the 215B. So it is literally just me and a Death Star versus 5 tanks. So it is not looking good at all. So I'm going to go and chase this 50B, trying to get away from these guys, and you can see the E3 is actually catching up with me. But at this point, I know, you know, it's not going to be a win. The Death Star is a one shot. I've just been shot from behind. We have, however, bounced 780 damage at the moment, and we're still chasing this 50B. But the 50B is not the easiest of tanks to chase, because it is quite a quick tank. But seeing as I got behind him, I did manage to get a nice HE into him, and before you know it, it's now a 1 versus 4, and we are game over. So yeah, unfortunate. I could have probably done a little bit more damage there, but overall we did get that penetration on the tortoise, and we still finished with 4,200 damage. So you can do that quite regularly. You can do quite a lot of damage regularly, very quickly. And again, if you can get that HE out, definitely do that, because you can do over 600 damage per HE. But it's not a popular tank at the moment. It's really not a popular tank. Not a lot of people are playing the tank, but for 20,000 gold, you know what, I think it is definitely worth purchasing, only if you can afford it, of course, and if you've got spare gold. gold. If you've got 20k gold sitting around, then yeah, this could be a tank for you. But you've got to play it to its advantages, because if you don't, then it isn't a great tank. You really have to rely on that turret armor to get those bounces. But for now, I hope you enjoyed today's video, guys. I'm meadsy69, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye bye.